Hi guys, how you doing? Today I'll be doing a video on my method of carbon fiber covering, sheeting. This isn't a standard method. You need to use a flat board. You could go to Home Depot and buy any wooden flat board that's painted. You also need a mask. Always wear a mask to protect yourself from epoxy fumes. You could get this board from Home Depot. It's like $9, any wooden board, but it's gotta be painted. You also need mold release. It's gotta be painted glossy. You can find them at any Home Depot store. So what you wanna do is you first gotta apply your mold release. So carefully apply it on the board and below the carbon fiber surface. Now, I won't mention this in the video, but I use my own method to tack down the carbon fiber because epoxy resin takes a whole day to dry. So you'll need to find a way to tack it all down so that it doesn't bubble up. I have my own way of tacking it down. I won't share it right now, not because it's a secret, but because it's unconventional and a lot of carbon fiber guys might disagree about it. But if you're interested, then you could DM me or PM me or whatever, reach out to me, email me, and I might share the method with you. But it's unconventional. A lot of people might disagree with my method, but it works for me, so it doesn't matter. This method of covering is actually not my method. This method is actually not my method, and I learned this because I grew up in an area where boat building and boat repairs were very common. So I picked up this technique from boat builders, and it's a very efficient way of covering imperfect surfaces. And the more layers of carbon fiber or fiberglass you use, the more better results you'll get. So you don't necessarily have to use several layers of carbon fiber. You can be cost effective and use one layer of carbon fiber and a layer of fiberglass, down below, depending on how your setup is. So the more layers you've got, the more it will resist, the imperfections that are on the surface. As you know, carbon fiber and fiberglass, they will amplify any imperfections you've got on your surface. So it will resist it. It's not 100%, but it will give you a much better result than what you get with directly laying fiberglass or carbon fiber on your imperfect surface. You'll get much better results. So as you can see right now in the video, I am covering everything with mold release, so I could get a good release after it's dried up. And in a while I'll mix up my resin and start laying down the resin. Now one thing I want to mention is with this method, depending on where you're covering, you might not be able to get away with more layers. Like this spot which has already been covered, where it's predominantly flat and like predominantly the same shape, that's where you can get away with using more layers for better results. But when you go to areas like the nose, or the tail, you can't get away with more than one layer because it's gotta flex and conform towards the surface. As you can see, I'm covering everything with resin right now. And once it dries up, you'll still be able to bend it into shape to cover your surface, but it's gonna be much more forgiving than just laying down a layer of carbon fiber or fiberglass and pouring your resin on top. It will be much more forgiving towards the imperfections that are on your surface. And once you decide to lay it in place, all you've got to do is stick it with some epoxy resin on your surface. That's all you got to do. If it doesn't want to bend into shape in certain areas, you could try even screwing it down in surface in some areas, or taping it down while the resin dries. It is 100% efficient, and it works. It has been done. I've seen it done. I've used this method on other projects. It's 100%. It 100% works. It's not an experiment. I'll show you photos of a project where this method has been applied, and you'll get very, very clean and good results with this if done properly. You're still gonna need to use filler, but it's gonna be much less than you'd have to use if you were to use the conventional method of just laying down your layer and just sticking it down. So I'm all done laying down the epoxy resin, and I'm gonna give it a whole day to dry and then come back. I've used this method many times and I get the best results with this method. You waste less time with fillers and you get closer towards a better and finer finish. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe, share and comment, and I'll be sure to drop more videos.